Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, this is Inorganic Material Chemistry course Chem 3115 and this is 29th lecture of this course, and the topic which we are going to discuss, it is sol gel synthesis. This is first part of sol gel synthesis. We will have two more lectures on this topic, and there will be total 3 lectures on sol gel synthesis technique. The key concepts of this first lecture includes, first of all, I will introduce a little about inorganic materials synthesis, then ceramic method, shake and bake synthesis method, ceramic method synthesis of yttrium, barium, copper oxide, and after that we will discuss sol gel method. Inorganic materials synthesis. Dear students, inorganic materials are mostly in solid form. If you remember, we have discussed from lecture 1 crystalline and amorphous states, in which we have discussed inorganic materials, and they are actually crystalline and amorphous solids. Similarly, when we discuss different physical properties of materials, at that time we have discussed the materials were in solid state form. So this is why the most common method for the synthesis of inorganic materials, that are the solid state reactions. The solid state reactions can be of 3 types. They can be solid reactions, solid gas, or intercalation. In a typical solid state reaction, what we do, we take precursor materials. They can be oxides, for example metal oxides, they can be metal carbonates, nitrates, and we grind them, mix them, and after that we heat them at a certain temperature, at high temperature. Ceramic method, shake and bake method. In this method, there is a direct reaction between two or more solids to form the final product. Principally, decomposition is involved in this reaction. The two or more solids which we mix to do the direct reaction, they are decomposed. These solid-solid reactions are simple to perform. Starting materials are often readily available at low cost, and reactions are clean. These reactions do not involve other elements which are beneficial for industry. Solids do not react with solids at room temperature. Even thermodynamics is favorable. It means that a very high temperature is needed to react solids with solids in solid state reaction. There are many advantages of these reactions. For example, they are very simple, direct reactions. We do not need to get starting material from a number of reactions. Either the starting materials are readily available. These reactions are of low cost and clean. However, the temperature is very high. So if we talk about the disadvantages, the most biggest disadvantage includes the need of high temperature, the possibility of inhomogeneity, contamination from containers, etc. Because when we use very high temperature, and if we do solid state reaction in a container at very high temperature, the container can react with the reactants. So the contamination from container can come to the products. Also inhomogeneity is also possible during these reactions. So these are disadvantages of these ceramic methods, shake and bake and solid state methods. Here is an example of synthesis of a superconductor material yttrium barium copper oxide YbCO. It is abbreviated uh, by YbCO. This is a perovskite type structure. Perovskite. The word is written here. Perovskite structure, and this is one small unit of the structure. When these three units they combine with each other, then we get yttrium barium copper oxide. It can be synthesized by solid state reaction by directly reacting yttrium oxide, barium carbonate, copper oxide in solid state reaction, and where the temperature we need maybe at 800 or 900 degrees centigrade temperature, and sometimes 1000 degree centigrade temperature to complete this reaction. So what is actual procedure? Ceramic method synthesis of yttrium barium copper oxide. So we do direct reaction between three solid components which I have already mentioned: yttrium oxide, barium carbonate, copper oxide. So prior to do the chemical reaction, we grind these precursors to obtain large surface area so that they can interact with each other more easily, and after that we press the reactants into pellets. It means we make a contact between the reactants, and after that we place the reactants in alumina boat or alumina crucible and heat them at high temperature. So here is the chemical reactions occurring and during different time period and different temperature. So when we increase the temperature from room temperature to almost 1000 or 900 degree centigrade temperature, so this is the time where about 20 hours, for 20 hours the chemical reaction takes place, and after that when we cool down at certain temperatures like for uh, 25 to 40 hours at 500 degrees centigrade temperature, this is the second step in which we do oxidation, because some of the oxygen may be lost during this first heating temperature which is at 900 degrees centigrade. So again we will cool down the reaction mixture to 500 degrees centigrade, and again we will heat at 500 degrees centigrade for several hours so that the oxygen can be added to the uh, system and oxidation can takes place. And after that we will slowly cool down our reaction mixture from 40 to 50. We cool down slowly so that the oxygen may not be lost. So this is a typical simple solid state reaction. Another method can be chemical mixing in solution. uh, it decreases the diffusion lengths by using intimately mixing of cations, solid precursors containing the desired cations. So for example here one is the figure 1 and the second one is the figure 2. So we can see in figure 1 concentrate concentrational solid state reaction techniques. They give slow reaction kinetics, and in figure 2 solid solution precursor techniques, it gives fast reaction kinetics. Precursors for ceramic synthesis. Precursors can be used via co-precipitation or via solid solution and compounds. However, these methods are not suited for preparation of yttrium barium copper oxide. Then we should go to sol gel methods. What are the sol gel methods? The sol gel process may be described as formation of an oxide network through polycondensation reactions of a molecular precursor in a liquid. What is sol gel process? Formation of an oxide network through polycondensation reactions of a molecular precursor in a liquid. So in sol gel method, we do polycondensation by using molecular precursor, and this polycondensation produces oxide network. Sol gel method consists of mainly two steps. One is the sol and second one is the gel. A sol is a stable dispersion of colloidal particles or polymers in a solvent. The particles may be amorphous or crystalline. An aerosol is particles in a gas phase, while a sol is particles in a liquid. So here you can differentiate between aerosol and simple sol. Simple sol means particles in a liquid and aerosol means particles in a gas. So what is sol? We will take a solvent and we will dissolve our precursor materials and they will make a colloidal solution. So this is sol. A gel consists of a three-dimensional continuous network which includes a liquid phase. In a colloidal gel, the network is built from agglomeration of colloidal particles, while in a polymer gel, the particles have polymeric substructure made by aggregates of subcolloidal particles. So gel can be of two types, colloidal gel and polymer gel. Generally, the sol particles may interact by van der Waals forces or hydrogen bonds. A gel may also be formed from linking polymer chains. In most gel systems used for materials synthesis, the interactions are of a covalent nature and the goal process is reversible. The gelation process may be reversible if other interactions are involved. Gelation means the formation of gel. So the formation of gel process may be reversible if other interactions are involved. The idea behind sol gel synthesis is to dissolve the compound in a liquid in order to bring it back as a solid in a controlled manner. So simply, if we talk about sol gel synthesis, it is a method in which we dissolve reactants in a liquid and then we bring them back into a solid in controlled conditions. By using sol gel method, we can synthesize multi-component compounds with a controlled stoichiometry by mixing sols of different compounds. The sol gel method prevents the problem with coprecipitation, which may be inhomogeneous by a gelation reaction. Sol gel method enables mixing at an atomic level. It results in small particles which are easily sinterable. So sol gel method can be used for the synthesis of nanoparticles because nanoparticles are very small particles. The sol gel method was developed in the 1960s mainly due to the need of new synthesis methods in the nuclear industry. A method was needed where dust was reduced compared to the ceramic method and which needed a lower sintering temperature. In addition, it should be possible to do the synthesis by remote control. If the sol is if the gel is dried by evaporation, then the capillary forces will result in shrinkage. The gel network will collapse and a hexagonal and a zero gel is formed. If drying is performed under supercritical conditions, the network structure may be retained and a gel with large pores may be formed. This is called an aerogel because in this case the gel will contain gas molecules inside the pores and the density of the aerogel will be very low. For example, it can be 0.005 gram per cubic centimeter. So what is actually sol gel method? The sol gel process, which is also called gelation, a change from a liquid state to a gel state through polycondensation reaction. A sol is a stable dispersion of colloidal particles or polymers in a solvent. The particles may be amorphous or crystalline. A gel consists of three-dimensional network. So you can see the two diagrams. One is for the sol. It has colloidal particles in a solvent, and gel is three-dimensional continuous network. The particles combine with each other and they form a continuous network. In a colloidal gel, the network is built from agglomeration of colloidal particles, and in polymer gel, the particles have polymeric subunits. This one has been discussed previously as well. So, what are the steps which are involved in sol gel method? First of all, we have precursors. In step 1, we do hydrolysis and a sol is formed. And after the sol is formed, it is agglomerated and condensation reaction occurs to make gel. The condensation step is the second step. The first step is the hydrolysis. Hydrolysis means here we are using water as a solvent. So this is hydrolysis. So first we uh, just dissolve our precursors into a solvent. This is the first step, and in second step condensation reaction takes place. During gelation, covalent bonding, van der Waals and hydrogen bondings are formed. Particulate sols, gelling via agglomeration, common polymer sols, gelling via condensation. So agglomeration and condensation, both processes can occur. Sol gel may be used to prepare materials with a variety of shapes such as porous structures, thin fibers, dense powders and thin films. We will discuss it later. The sol gel method can also be described as formation of an oxide network through the hydrolysis. This is the same we have just uh, discussed previously. What is the solution? Organic compounds of elements, for example alkoxides, esters, or inorganic salts like nitrates, chlorides. If we have organic compounds, then we use a solvent which will be an organic compound, usually alcohol, methanol or ethanol. If we have inorganic salts, then we will use water as a solvent. So catalysis of chemical reaction can also be carried out by using an acid or base because we are doing condensation reactions. So the condensation can be acid condensation or base condensation. So basic chemical reactions which occur, here is an example of an alkoxide of silicon, the hydrolysis in which the alkoxide of silicon is treated with water and it is dissolved into the water. And the second one is the polycondensation. During polycondensation reaction, we get polymers, just like here you can see these two figures. These are the starting materials. First it is reacted with water and after that we get this hydrolyzed product and it will react with each other and there will be condensation, removal of one water molecule. So the basic physical transformations, they are, we have solution. First of all we get sol and then gel and after that solid body. So first of all we heat 40 to 250 degree centigrade temperature, and from the solution the water and the solvent is dried, and after that 250 to 400 degree centigrade temperature oxidation of organic matter takes place, and in other step finally we heat from 400 to 100 degree centigrade, 1000 degree centigrade for the removal of OH groups, which is actually condensation. So the colors matching with the arrows, they are showing different steps of the sol gel method. It is very simple method. So starting from the precursors, we dissolve them into a solvent and make a solution, and the solution is actually the colloidal solution which is called sol, and after that the sol is dried and heated, it is converted into gel, and finally the gel is heated at high temperature for the removal of OH, it means for the condensation, and finally we get the final product. So here I have mentioned that sol gel method can be used for different applications. We can synthesize variety of shapes such as porous structures, thin fibers, dense powders and thin films. So these are shown in this slide. You can see this is the sol and this is the gel. We can get sol fibers, we can get powders, we can get zero gel film, dense ceramic film. This is gelation, evaporation, and from the gel we can use supercritical extraction or solvent evaporation, and we can get aerogel or zero gel, and by heating and drying the zero gel we can get dense glass. So these are different shapes and different kind of particles which can be synthesized by sol gel method. As an example, as we have already discussed that multi-component compounds may be prepared with the controlled stoichiometry by mixing sols of different elements. It is a very simple reaction in which direct mixing of elements to form one sol directly or mixing at atomic level through sol formation. The sol gel method prevents the problems with co-precipitation which may be inhomogeneous. Results in small particles which are easily sinterable. Here is an example. So we want to synthesize yttrium barium copper oxide. So first of all we have EDTA, diethylene tetraamine. We react EDTA with yttrium acetate in the presence of sodium hydroxide. On the other hand, we treat barium acetate with lactic acid in the presence of sodium hydroxide, and we treat copper acetate in the presence of acrylic acid and methoxide, methanol. These are three different precursors, and we make the sol from these three precursors. And when we get three sols, that is Y sol, barium sol, and copper sol, we mix them, and after that we convert them into gel, and on final heating we get our product yttrium barium copper oxide. So the sol gel method, which was developed in 1960, it is mainly needed for the synthesis of new materials. So we can control the synthesis, sintering temperature is lower, and dust can be reduced if we compare this method with ceramic method. So this is why this method is very important. So this is all about this lecture. Thank you very much.